back. This is my favourite bit of the show. We're going to talk about those forgotten number ones, literally lost in the mist of time. Long lost songs that radio stations don't play anymore. Well, there's several radio stations. One's called Radio Boom or Boom Radio. There's another one called Cheesy FM. That's probably a bit unfair. But they are cashing in on these songs that we used to love and completely forgot by replaying them. So they're coming back from the musical dead, as it were. And we are going to talk now, first of all, to, well, both at once, actually, to the excellent music journalist, Mark Webster, and also the one and only Chico, who had a number one back in 2006. You remember him on the X Factor. It's Chico time. Let's remind ourselves of Chico's smash hit chart topper back in 2006. Take it away, Chico.
It's Chico time. Well, you can get delirious. You take a lot too serious. It's Chico time.
There you go. It's Chico time. That takes me back, and I bet it takes Chico back. Welcome, Mark, and welcome, Chico.
Evening,
thank you. What a pleasure.
Hey, Chico.
Hey, Mark. Looking back at that, I wish I looked like that, and I wish I could still do the splits without having a hip replacement.
So it's Chico time. It's a great song, actually, and it was the tune of that X Factor, and then you got to number one in the charts. What do you make of this, Chico? There's all these forgotten number one songs. You know, Billy Piper had one once. There's a Mongo Jerry song that everyone's forgotten, partly because it was all about seducing an underage girl. So some of these number ones don't quite stand the test of time, if I can use your favourite word. But a lot of songs deserve to be played, and they're not. Shouldn't we be playing Chico time at least 10 times every day on the radio?
Well, put it this way, everything goes round in circles, which is time. And that which is cheesy sometimes becomes cool within time, because those 5-year-olds or 9-year-olds or 10-year-olds will become the 30-year-olds. But there is something that reminds them of their own childhood. That's what we're doing here right now at Who Breath Retreats. It's taking you back to that 7-year-old that remembers the beautiful things that you will never forget. Now, no matter what anyone says, this is not cool, this is cheesy. But guess what? We aim for two. I used to always say, listen, I'd rather play the fool and have fun than try to be cool and have none. I cater for 2 C's, the cool and the cheese. We aim to please. And right now, guess what? It's gone a full circle, and I tell you what, you will never believe how Chico time come about, and Ozzy Osbourne was the responsible for that. Would you like me to give you an exclusive?
All right, I'm going to talk to Mark in a minute, but go on, give us this exclusive.
Well, put it this way, they were beating me up on stage, my exotic dancing, front page, all of that. Anyway, one day I was looked after by Mark Hudson, the Hudson brothers. You know, the guy with the...
Well, yeah, of course, I remember every single X Factor contestant.
Yeah, he looked like he had the oral sex with a bag of Skittles, but he was like, yo, my brother, you gotta do what you gotta freaking do, you know? And anyway, I was on the Ramadan Ding Dong. They gave us this freaking flu jab that completely killed me. Anyway, I had no voice. No one knew this. Yeah. And I actually rang up Sharon and said, I give up. She said, don't you quit on me. Quitters not winners, winners not quitters. Come and see Mark. Anyway, I went and see him, and he went, yo, my brother, what's up? I said, listen, I've had enough. I'm quitting. That's it. I'm done. And he went, I said, I don't get it. The kids, the people, the old, the tough and ruthless, the old and toothless love me. And what's going on with them, with these people? And he went, yo, my brother, to their self be true. And at that moment I went, yeah, man. You can get delirious if you take life too seriously. But that's right, my brother, because that's Chico time. And that was the song that we recorded
time, yeah. Listen, Chico, let's get Mark a word in edgeways. So, Mark, you just listened to Chico, all of that. Could have been you talking, couldn't it? But seriously, What about this? Some of these songs. Billie Piper, she was number one with a record called Girlfriend. You Said No by Busted is completely forgotten. There are even these stations, these nostalgia stations. They're playing My Son, which was number one in 1952 by Vera Lynn, subsequently Dame Vera Lynn.
Wow.
And then there's Mungo Jerry, who sang a song called Baby Jump, which was one of those songs that was actually about seducing an underage girl, which seemed to be okay back then, but it isn't anymore. But it is a lost resource for the radio industry, isn't it? Not playing these songs that were once the most popular songs in the country.
That's the point, isn't it, Kevin? Is that for a while there, it may be one-hit wonders, they may be of their time, but the point was at some point, everybody loved it and everyone bought it. That's the reason it goes to number one. It's not because people heard it in the ether and it kind of ended up there. You know, this is based on sales. My actual favourite of all that in that list there is Mel C's I Turn to You, which in 2010 only managed three plays on Forces Network.
Yeah.
So she kept the troops happy 3 times during the course of that particular year with that song. And it just goes to show that, and I think Chico makes a very good point, we can talk about gimmick, we can talk about novelty, you can talk about trends, but the fact is stuff will come back around.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as there's a platform for it, it will come back around and it will find people who liked it the first time around. And guess what? It might even find a new audience. And it's not like they're all naff, bad tunes. It's just that somehow they fall between, a lot of them fall between the cracks. I mean, I was looking at a list. Mars's Pump Up the Volume was a one-hit wonder. Doesn't get kind of turned over much. What a tune! What a tune,
wasn't it? Yeah, that was back in the 90s, wasn't it? That was that was played all the time over in the States because I was over there. Then
do you know what? Can I just say something? Sorry to interrupt. Mark.
Yeah,
I
go
really
on,
appreciate
Chico.
your comment there. And do you know what it is? I think people now, especially now in a world of political correctness and madness, is now you cannot have an opinion or express yourself in a way that your heart feels. And for me, this, liking an old song is like looking at an old picture. A lot of people look horrified and go, what was I wearing? What was I doing? Me, I go, wow, because it transports me to that moment of that experience. And for me to take away from that experience is to be untrue and unauthentic to myself. And that, to me, is the greatest sacrilege.
Yeah, well, Chico, it's great to have you on. Now, let's get Mark back on to critique Chico Time. The Times yesterday, Mark, wrote a story about this, and they rather kindly classified Chico Time as a record that didn't deserve to be remembered. They said it was a novelty song. Well, I don't think it was a novelty song. I thought it was great fun. It had a good tune. It was very catchy. That's what makes a number one, doesn't it?
Yeah, those things are not against the rules. In fact, more often than not, this is what record companies are encouraging people to do. And radio stations kind of follow suit because they'll play the songs because they can hear their appeal. And as I say, it goes back to that point. People vote with their feet, or more's the point, they were voting with their wallets. They chose to buy that tune. And now that there are these various radio stations out there, and I think GCFM is not a bad name, Kevin. I think if we're talking about revival pressure, or indeed sort of giving something a brand new a brand new platform, I don't think cheese is such a bad thing anymore.
It's not.
I think it's perfectly acceptable. The old fromage smelling tunes.
Absolutely. I listen to Virgin anthems a lot because they just play all these classics from the past, and you always like to hear them. The songs that you grew up with, the songs that you loved, you always love. Listen, Mark, great to talk to you. I was going to talk to you about West Ham, but I don't want to finish the show on a note of tragedy.
I could sing you Bubbles. I did get to number one with it in 1942.
Yeah, 1902, mate. Yeah. Listen, thank you so much, Mark. Chico, come on again. Great to talk to you. Can
I just say, it's an absolute pleasure, and why I love you and your show ever since I've known you, and everything you've ever said was true, because you're a good man with a good soul, and you will not veer to anyone else's opinion, and that's what I love.
Well, true, Chico, you and I have
staywhobreath.com.
Thank you you and I have known each other a long time, and you remind me of good times, and you're still a great guy. Thank you very much, Chico. Thank you very much also to Mark Webster there.